Three, two, one. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about the Tesla stock. It's been soaring up today. It's probably at like 1750 or something like that. It's very high right now. And basically it jumped about 12% from Friday. And a 12% jump over the course of a year is considered big in the S&P. Here we're seeing the same percentage jump, but only over a weekend, over 2 days. Let's get to the bottom of this, let's see why it's happening, and let's just talk all about it. So there are two main reasons why this stock, or the Tesla stock, is actually going up, and obviously I personally think it's going to go higher, and I still think it's not a bad time to buy. If you're a day trader or you want to sell the stock tomorrow or something like that, I don't know what to say to you actually. But essentially, I feel like if you're gonna hold it for just even a couple of years or more long term than that, just buy it and hold, because Tesla's mission isn't accomplished yet and they've only just begun. So the number one reason why the stock is this high is because of the short squeeze. What is the short squeeze, you might be asking? Well, shorting is essentially betting on the stock coming down. And that's what shorts do. They're basically betting about, I think it's like a total of $20 billion of the stock is being shorted, which isn't really that big compared to $300 billion, but it's literally the most shorted stock in the history of the stock market. And because of that, the shorts kept the stock very low. So if you see the trend over a very long period of time, 5+ years, you'll see the stock is more or less very steady. Although at the time it felt like it was varying so much and it was very volatile, which in a sense it was, but considering what we're facing right now, that is essentially nothing. It just feels like little blimps basically. And the reason why shorts are shorting the stock so much is because it's an automaker, and the last time a new automaker was became alive essentially was, I think, about 80 years ago, and I think it was Chrysler. I'm not entirely sure about that. I'm not really up to date on my history. So any new car company always went bankrupt, and that's what the shorts thought this company would do. They would go bankrupt eventually, and because of that, the shorts would gain a lot of money, because what they're essentially doing is selling you the stock at today's prices a year from now. So if the stock goes down, which is what they're betting, they profit the difference. But if the stock goes up, then they have to pay the difference and give you the stock for the price it was a year ago. And a year ago, the stock was very, very low. It was around $200, $300. At the time, a lot of people shorted that stock, and now they're realizing, well, the stock is not going to come down that much or even close to that much, and a lot of the shorts are actually buying up now so they can decrease their losses in the future, and that essentially creates a sort of short squeeze, which basically means a lot of people get together. They're like, okay, I want to buy the stock, but there's not enough. There's a lot of demand, but there's not enough supply. It's basic economics. That's one major reason why the stock is being shot up as much as it is right now. Now, another reason is that Tesla are really close to entering the S&P. Now, I did make a video talking about why it's important for Tesla to get in the S&P. You can watch it right up there. But essentially, when Tesla enters the S&P and all the index funds that follow the S&P buy up the stock, that's going to create less stock that's going to go around. So the volumes will decrease, but it will create a more stable stock over the long term. And essentially what that means is, if you get in the S&P, that means you're like a legit company, and the chance of you going bankrupt anytime soon, especially from the S&P, and they're like one of the top 10 companies in the entire world, or actually S&P counts for US, but literally the most valuable car manufacturer in the world. When you're in the S&P, you're like a legit business. Yes, they're the deal. They're like the shit basically, and that's why it's very important for Tesla to actually enter the S&P so that the stock becomes more stable, and all of them have to actually buy. So all the index funds that follow the S&P have to buy pretty much at that same instant. And Tesla is going to announce their earnings on July the 22nd, so that's also when they're going to have their Q2 earnings call. They will either report a profit, and if they don't report a profit, hopefully the loss isn't as much, and essentially in Q3 they'll obviously produce a profit. That's what's been going on for like the past year or two now. And also, this was during a global pandemic. They were the only automaker in the world who had an increase in sales instead of a decline. That was one of the biggest deals that really impacted the stock quite a bit. So now when you add up all that together, you get a short squeeze that brings up the stock before the S&P index funds actually start buying. And by the way, the S&P index funds are like the big index funds. You know, when you call like the big money, that's essentially it. You can consider it. So they're gonna start buying in big chunks, and they have to buy at whatever price it is. So it can be at $10,000. They will have to buy some percentage of that and fill their portfolio according to how valuable the company is. And the more valuable the company actually gets, the more stock they actually have to add. So essentially it's like a positive circle essentially. And that is why I feel like it's still a good time to buy, because the stock can easily double in the amount of time we're gonna see. And obviously don't listen to me, obviously like look at your own financial advice and all that, but the company is not going anywhere. They're like, I think, the 7th most valuable company in the world according to market cap, so that's huge. That is big. And once they enter the S&P 500, they'll be set for life, essentially, you can call it, and the stock will become a lot more stable. And basically overall it's a legit brand, a legit company, and the S&Ps are gonna follow it. And that is another reason why everyone is buying up the stock right now. So everyone else is buying, the short squeeze is happening, and they're gonna probably enter an S&P 500 because they'll probably report a profit. They had to report a profit for the last 4 quarters, and this being the 1 quarter left. They produced a profit on Q1 2020, which was the first time Tesla actually had a profit in Q1 of any given year. Q1 of any given year is always the worst for any car manufacturer, and Tesla produced a profit, which means they are becoming a lot more sustainable, and I guess they're reducing their costs and expenses, and they're increasing their revenue, which basically just means now they're going to have extra cash, which is essentially profit. And for a sustainable business, profit is necessary. Before, what they did was, because they didn't have enough revenue, they were a little bit money constrained, and they got all these loans and stuff, so they never really reported a profit, always a loss, because they were just reinvesting everything they can. And now we're basically seeing the fruits of their labor coming into fruition. And the story just doesn't end here. There's a long way to go. People haven't even factored in their energy sector yet, or their solar business, or their full self-driving robo-taxi business. That hasn't even occurred yet. Right now they're just looking at the car business as a whole, and it's at this price. So once you take in all those factors into account, I feel like the stock is going to go so much higher, and that's why I feel like it's still not a bad time to buy if you can. But you know, who am I to say anything? I'm just a random guy on YouTube essentially. So yeah, so those are just a few reasons why the Tesla stock is so high as it is, and it's amazing to actually see it, because the people who got in, say, just a year ago, essentially almost 10x'd their money. Really, you put $10,000 and now you have $100,000 essentially, or at least we're gonna get to that stage. But if you bought at the lows that happened last year, it was about 170. Right now it's 1700, and that's right now. The S&P Inclusion did not happen yet, so I would imagine it would go well above $2,000. So there's that. And also, many people are making calls of $2,500 in a few weeks from now. So I'm just gonna leave you at that. It's your choice if you want to buy or not. And then again, why would you listen to me? I'm just a random guy on YouTube who made some money on the Tesla stock. Quite a bit of money, actually. And I'm guessing you didn't. That was the fakest laugh I could have done. I'm sorry. That was fake. It's very fake. I tried. I tried. I really tried. My voice is getting sore. I drink coffee or my voice is getting sore. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'll talk to you later. Alright? Peace.